Welcome to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. And our topic for this program is very interesting. It's about psychic phenomena. It's about the unseen, the unheard. It's about UFOs. And we have with us the foremost international psychic researcher ng Pilipinas. He lectures all over the world on psychic phenomena. He is an author of several books, best-selling books. He is a broadcaster. He's a regular radio program. He's a columnist. He has a regular column in in the leading newspaper in the Philippines. And so we have with us none other than Dr. Jaime Licauco. Hi, Jimmy, welcome.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay. Now, Jimmy, umpisa natin sa kasi ang title natin, UFOs. Babalik-balikan natin to, no?
Sure.
UFOs, unidentified flying objects. A lot of people believe in it, di ba? Many people believe in it. Ngayon, more and more credible people all over the world are saying they are true, we have made contact, and so on and so forth. And I know you have been researching this for decades and you're an authority on it. Ang tanong ko, Jimmy, bakit walang maliwanag the picture? Tsaka bakit wala pa tayong picture ng isang ET mismo? Or do they look like us?
No, it is not true that we don't have pictures.
Oh.
We have plenty of authenticated pictures and films.
Pero hindi sharp.
No. There are. Most of them are not sharp. But remember, there was the Condon study, by this guy Condon. I think he was commissioned by the U.S. Armed Forces for the Navy. And it showed that 90% of all these sightings can be explained by natural phenomena.
Okay.
Balloon bursting and all, balloon testing. But 10% or 15%, not that much, could not be explained. And they let go at that. Kasi 90% can be explained. They said, well, they completely ignored the findings. What about the 10%?
Okay. Sa research mo, what about the 10%?
Well, I have had actual experiences with UFOs. I have seen plenty of these sightings in Mount Banahaw, in Pila, Laguna, and even outside my window in the south, in Parañaque, I saw about 4 o'clock in the morning a very fast-moving light, which could not be an airplane. So I've seen. And actually, Jerry, I don't know whether people who believe this, I've actually met and talked to an alien, female alien.
Oh, paano yan? Yeah, maganda yan.
I don't want to elaborate on it, but I did because it's difficult to prove, except that another person who was with me saw the same entity inside a boulder. But of course, I did not go there physically. It was my astral body that was inside.
Okay. And, so it was not a physical, ano ba tawag nila ron?
Astral.
Encounter of the third kind.
Yes, it was not a physical thing because, one of the things that perhaps we should explain is that these UFOs and aliens are what we call semi-physical.
Okay.
Semi-physical and semi-spiritual entities. In other words, they cannot be seen by ordinary people. Not everybody can see them. And they can be seen only through the third eye. That's why two people looking at the same thing, one will see, the others will not see. That's why it's so difficult to prove.
Okay. So, totoo ba yung ito? I really haven't researched it, but every now and then I come across things like, sasabihin nila, they're among us na eh. They look like Jimmy, they look like Jerry and Jigger and Rolly. Parang gano'n. So, they look like us. So, anong hinahanap mo? Gusto mo yung may mga antena?
Yes.
So, what is it, Jimmy?
Well, there are those that have already assumed the human form. Those have been for a long time. In fact, there's a whole book written by Scott Mandelker. In fact, I met the author. Scott Mandelker wrote a PhD thesis, and the book's title is From Elsewhere, and then subtitle, Being E.T. in America. That's the subtitle. And the thesis of the book is that there are those aliens that are already here and assume a human form.
Okay, but for what purpose? Nag-migrate sila?
Yes, some of them stayed. And this can be verified actually in the Bible. You will notice in the Old Testament, I think in the area of the Genesis, there were giants who were roaming the earth. And then they they habited with the human beings, no?
Okay.
And they lived. Some went back to their own planetary systems. Others stayed behind.
Okay. Now, I know you've researched on this also. Ito naman, nakikita ko sa TV. National Geo yata, Discovery na. Itong mga structures ng mga Aztecs, itong mga pyramids,
Yes.
connected daw sa mga UFO and extraterrestrials yan.
Yes.
Now, according to your research, how true is this? Akala ko, mausoleum ng mga pharaohs
No.
ano.
That is the common misconception.
Okay.
Actually, if you look at the construction of the pyramid and the pyramid in Egypt and the pyramids in the Aztecs or the Maya, no, the proportions are the same, no. How can you explain that? These people are not in touch with each other. The other thing is that the king's chamber in the pyramid of Giza is aligned to Orion, the constellation Orion, and the queen's chamber is aligned to Sirius. This is another star, no? And why is that so? Because they are actually parang beacons, no, to other planetary systems. And this is true also of the pyramids that can be found in Mexico, in Mesoamerica, and made by the Aztecs, the Maya, the Olmecs, and all that. No?
So, were they built by extraterrestrials or were they built by humans under the instructions?
No, that's controversial, Jerry. Nobody knows.
Okay.
Nobody knows who built it. I don't want dare to.
So, despite your decades of research, walang conclusive...
Well, not me. I'm not really an expert. When the experts who have done it could not make a definite conclusion that this was made by humans or aliens.
Well,
there is some
definitely by
indication.
humans.
Well, humans with the aid of some technology, some outside technology, pwede.
Okay. So, dito ngayon sa Pilipinas, eto, we had a chat when we met a week ago, about this. Sabi nila, dito raw sa Pilipinas, well, let's talk about Mount Banahaw first. Mount Banahaw daw, ang ilalim daw niyan is actually a subterranean, I don't know what you call it, headquarters for UFOs and aliens. Totoo ba yan, Jimmy?
Well,
Ano
I
ba yan?
cannot say it's true or not, but there is a belief or that there is such a thing. But I cannot say it's true or not. I have no way of verifying it.
But you have said na when you're in Banahaw, sawang-sawa ka makakita ng UFO.
Yeah,
Hindi
we
nyo na
see.
pinapansin.
Everybody sees it. 10, 15 minutes, hindi lang seconds. We can see light dancing in the sky.
Okay.
Oh.
Pero hindi saucer na...
No.
Ha?
Lights. These are lights.
Okay. Ngayon, Jimmy, eto ngayon ang anong purpose nila rito? I mean, let's just presume it's true. Now you say you have even contacted someone on the astral plane. I'm sure you asked questions like that, or maybe they told you.
I was unable to because I was not allowed to go deep inside. And
Okay.
I was told, hindi pa ready. No?
Okay.
So I was not able to converse with the entity.
Pero anong purpose nila?
Okay, one of the purposes...
conquer ba? To conquer
No,
ba?
definitely.
Hindi,
Friendly. Friendly. In fact, they are here to make sure that the planet Earth will not self-destruct. Do you know, Jerry, that right now, the stockpiles of nuclear weapons that are in the custody of several countries, the US, USSR, Russia, and several other atomic powers or nuclear power nations, are enough to destroy the whole Earth.
Several times over.
Exactly. So what is the purpose of these aliens? Is to make sure that this does not happen.
Okay.
Remember that the first alien sightings were seen after the atomic bomb was hurled at the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After that, many UFOs were seen. Why?
Why?
Because one of the purposes really is to prevent this thing from happening, okay? To preserve the Earth. Why do they want to preserve the Earth? It is not because of altruistic reason. It was because of the fact that it would also destroy the magnetic field of the universe. No? Therefore,
Okay.
to preserve the Earth.
So in other words, they're here to protect. So hindi totoo yung mga sine na to conquer, ha? Kalokohan yung mga yon.
That's not true. They would have conquered a long time ago, di ba? They have a higher technology, more advanced than we have. If that was the purpose, matagal na tayo na-conquer. Don't you think so?
Well, kaya nga ito puro theory. I
Yes.
mean, I myself,
Correct.
I've had
Encounters.
several close encounters
Yes.
with ang pinakamalapit na nangyari nito, Jimmy. I was in Parañaque. I was in an area where nagla-landing, nagte-take off mga eroplano. Okay, so one night, I was by the beach side. I said, oh my God, here comes another one of those noisy things. So nakita ko approaching red and green lights, and then when it passed over my head, I realized, bakit walang tunog? Ang laki-laki, I mean, whoosh,
Yes.
went over my head.
Oo.
I mean, the usual, parang mimicking a landing a jetliner, same red and green lights, but when it was already over my head, I was about to cover my ears. Walang tunog. Pagtingin ko na gano'n, dumaan na lang, going, psycho,
Hindi supersonic airplane.
No
Walang,
sound.
Kasi walang sound.
Walang
The sound is
sound.
after eh.
Oh, hindi, ito walang sound before or after.
Okay.
It was just huge with flashing red and green lights and went over my head, no? Ngayon, Jimmy, ito, I mean, we're gonna get into more interesting stuff na groundbreaking, yung sinasabi mo about quantum physics. Hindi ba? I mean, pag-uusapan natin yan. Etong UFO na ito, ano lang ito? Bread and butter lang na. I mean, everybody talks about it. We see it in movies. We see it in the comics. Ano ang last word mo on UFOs and extraterrestrials?
Well, we cannot discount the fact that there are unknown entities or objects that are here. And if they want ancient proof of UFOs, they can look at Ezekiel, in the Bible, in the Old Testament. The first chapter of the book of Ezekiel talks about this encounter with the UFO. The whole chapter. Very clear and very detailed description of UFOs.
At saka yung sina Elijah raw, hindi ba, was taken up in a fiery chariot.
Yes.
Hindi ba?
Elijah, yeah, right.
Ngayon, let's touch on this. I mean, baka magalit sa atin ng CBCP.
Bakit?
Meron pa sinasabi, Jesus Christ daw was an alien.
Well, in a way he is. In a way he was, no?
No, I mean an extraterrestrial.
Yes, because he
Okay.
came from outer space, no? So in a way he is. And so are we.
Okay.
Because this is not our home. We came from other planetary systems.
Like what?
Well,
Iba-ibang planeta tayo?
Iba-ibang planeta.
You know where you came from?
According to one entity we consulted, it's about 4,500 light years away.
Okay, layo nun.
4,500 light years.
Yeah, light years. A light year is the speed of sound,
No, the speed of light,
the speed of light that you travel for 1 year.
which is 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of light.
Times 1 year. That's 1 light year.
Exactly. Oh,
Yung pinanggalingan mo daw, 4,500 light
4,500.
years.
So it must be very, very fast.
Okay. You want to go back there, Jimmy?
One day.
One day. Or maybe we're there already.
Yes.
Di ba yung pag-usapan natin to? Because I think quantum physics has to deal with that, with reality, with what we see and what is out there.
Yes.
Okay, pagbalik po natin, I mean, we're going to have a very interesting topic. As a matter of fact, this was how Jim and I got together recently. He was very excited. He was telling me about one of his coming lectures, and you should hear about this. You're listening and watching Open House with Gerry Cornejo on GNN, and we'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. And as you can see, our topic now is UFOs and psychic phenomena. If you were listening earlier in first segment natin, we're talking about UFOs. And, everybody has his or own story about UFOs. We've seen it in movies, comics, everywhere. Nakikita po natin. Pero ito, our next topic is something that's always been there, something that scholars and professors have been talking about. And when I was talking to our guest, Dr. Licauco, he was very excited about it. As a matter of fact, he's going to have a seminar workshop about it. And so, Jimmy, ano nga pangalan ng magiging workshop mo?
It is quantum physics, Eastern mysticism, and ESP.
Okay. Sir, can you please explain, ano bang unahin natin? Quantum physics.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Jerry, I know I'll have difficulty explaining this, no, because it's technical. But I am looking at it from a layman, because I'm a layman, no, looking at this technical thing, because I was so excited when I read about quantum physics, how it explains a lot of things that are happening in the field of psychic phenomena, which could not be explained by classical physics. Probably the best way to introduce the concept of quantum physics is to contrast their findings with classical physics. Classical physics is associated with Isaac Newton and his associates during that time. And Isaac Newton, classical physics, is the one that is followed by all scientists. That there are laws governing the universe, like a mechanism. No? When quantum physics started becoming a force to reckon with, no, because of the findings, nakagulo mga scientists because they could not explain the behavior of smallest particle of matter from the point of view of classical physics. So they had to look for a new paradigm to explain what's happening. What are some of these things? No? You know, in physics, a particle is different from a wave. No? A particle occupies a specific space as an object, but a wave does not occupy a specific space. It occupies several spaces. It is a wave. Okay. Now, an object is either a particle or a wave. It cannot be both. But when scientists were beginning to research on the smallest particle of light, which is the photon, no, they found out that the photon behaves sometimes like a particle and sometimes like a wave. Now, this is a no-no as far as classical physics. It cannot be. Now, when they tried to research some more, bakit ganun? Why does this photon behave like a particle at one time and another time a wave? They realized later, to their consternation, the disbelief, that the observer observing the behavior of the photon determines whether it will be a particle or a wave. In other words, the observer is affecting the thing observed. That is not accepted by classical physics. The object is different from the subject. They cannot be interacting.
Yan ang classical physics.
That's classical Newtonian yan.
Okay.
And that is true in the macro level. Let me explain, no? Let me try to be clear. We are not saying that classical physics is wrong. It is still true. And it will be true from the macro standpoint, from the bigger physical, for that we can see. But when it comes to the ultimate stuff of matter, which is the quantum level, Newtonian physics laws do not apply. They cannot explain the behavior of particles. So they were scrounging for new ways of explaining. And that's how quantum physics began. To explain why is it that, for example, a particle can influence another particle. What do they call it? Action at a distance. That's telekinesis. You know, telekinesis is the power of the mind to affect an object from afar. That is happening on the particle level, on the quantum level. You see? So one of the things that makes me excited is that quantum physics explains why psychic phenomena happens. That's only one of them. There are others, no, that I cannot really just explain now, no. But there are other laws that were found by quantum physics that explains even such thing as bilocation, being in two places at the same time, can be explained by quantum physics. You see, telepathy, it can be explained by quantum physics. That everything is interconnected, everything is a state of motion. There is nothing at rest.
Okay, tanong ko lang ito now, Jimmy. It explains it. Does it explain how to do it?
What do you mean how to do it?
Like for instance, sinasabi mo, like a person's mind can affect that mug in front of you. Okay, accepted. Di ba? Nagagawa ng iba. Tayo ba kaya natin gawin yan? I mean,
Yes,
I
have
know you're
done.
teaching it, di ba?
Yes, I've done. I teach people how to bend spoons with their mind, to telekinesis. I teach people how to move an object with their mind without touching it. And they
Okay.
have done it.
Okay.
They could do it.
So-
But that is not explained. But that is the how is not explained by quantum physics.
Okay.
It explains that it happens. No?
Okay. Well, it's action-reaction, di ba? Parang ganun yan. Para bang ano yan, Jimmy? Parang water, it can be gas, solid, or liquid. Parang ganun ba yan?
No,
Hindi.
no, you're still talking about physical.
Oh.
See, on the quantum level, you cannot talk in terms of these things of solid, gaseous, or not. No. There is only the behavior of particles moving about like crazy.
Okay, ngayon, question. What can you do with that? With this knowledge now of quantum physics, what can you do? Can you create things? In
Well-
theory, the way I understand it, you can actually, with that power, with that theory, you can actually create things which ginagawa ng mga great psychics like Jesus Christ and other people before and after him. Di ba? They create things out of...
Oh, yeah, Sai Baba can do it. Materialization. Our healers can do it. Materialization.
So ano ba yan?
That's nothing.
Is that quantum physics? No. Hindi pa rin.
Well, it can be explained
Okay.
by quantum physics, but it is not quantum physics because quantum physics is a series of theories and principles, no. But it explains.
So itong seminar mo,
phenomena.
anong matututunan ito? Like a layman enters your, does someone who enters that, who joins your workshop, kailangan ba yan medyo ang background niya on these things is solid na or you can come in from the cold?
No, I can come from the cloud. See, I'm not the one lecturing on that because I'm not technically qualified. No, I'm not a physicist. But I will be collaborating with a physicist, Dr. George Wiseman, who has a PhD in theoretical physics from the University of California in Berkeley. And he worked with Gary Zukov and Fritjof Capra in preparing their books on quantum physics. And he has met some of the great psychics. And George himself can do psychokinesis to prove, no, that
And he
this
will
is-
demonstrate
He
this
will
during the
demonstrate it.
workshop?
He will demonstrate. But I will be demonstrating, not me, but the whole audience who will teach them how to bend a spoon with their mind.
Okay.
No?
Now, tema na, Jimmy. Mamaya maghahabol tayo kasi wala na tayong oras. Let's do it now. And I was estimating we will be airing this program before your seminar. Ngayon, your seminar is on June 22. Am
June
I right?
22, that's a Sunday.
Okay, June 22, Sunday,
From 9 a.m. to 5.
9 a.m. to 5. This is in Makati? Or?
Yes, in Makati, at the penthouse function room of Prince Plaza building on Legazpi Street.
Ito muna, Prince.
Prince Plaza building,
Okay.
penthouse function room, 106 Legazpi Street, corner De La Rosa.
Okay.
Legazpi Village, in front of Greenbelt 5.
Okay, now, of course, if they're lucky, meron pang space. But we were talking earlier.
Yeah, I was surprised at the response, Jerry.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Right. Well, as of now, by the way, if you're listening right now, and it's before June 22, you can try.
Yeah.
But
If there are
don't-
some cancellations, then we can still accept.
but you can try.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were meant to be there, you're going to be there.
Today they can call up
Yan, yan.
810
Okay.
7245
Okay.
for inquiries or reservation.
All right.
Or the cell phone of the office is 0908
Okay.
353 7885.
Okay. And the name of the seminar again is?
It's Quantum Physics, Eastern Mysticism, and ESP.
Okay. Hindi ba connected? Ano yan? Tatlong segments ba yan? I mean, yung quantum physics, the second part is?
Eastern
Mysticism and
ESP.
ESP.
It is not really a segment. It is really the interrelationship among these three will be discussed all throughout.
Okay. So interrelated yan.
Interrelated.
They're not independent
No,
subjects.
no, no. In
Okay.
fact, that is precisely the point of the exercise or the seminar is to show the interrelationship between quantum physics and Eastern mysticism, especially Buddhism, and then ESP also. There's a connection.
Okay.
Because hindi ba, ESP cannot be explained by science, classical
Okay.
science. With quantum physics, meron tayong explanation.
Okay. So again, I mean, kasi usually, Jimmy, alam ko yan, you know, you're a broadcaster, you do it on multimedia. Si Mr. Jimmy Licauco comes out regularly Meron po siyang column
Daily Inquirer.
sa Daily Inquirer. What
Every
days?
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, Daily Inquirer.
Yes.
Eh, hindi naman tayo sa radyo. So, sa radio program mo.
Radio, I'm with DWIZ,
Okay,
882 kilohertz.
882, and
Kilohertz.
when can they
That's
listen?
Sunday, 8 to 9 p.m.
Sunday,
ano.
8 to 9 p.m.
That's, in fact, after the seminar, George Weissman will be my guest on the radio program.
Okay. And also, your books are still in National
Oh, yes.
Bookstore?
I've written actually 17 books.
17?
17 books.
Okay.
And the 18th book I did with Cory Quirino, Supermind and Superbody.
Okay.
That's the 18th book.
I just saw Cory Quirino yesterday.
Yeah,
yesterday.
we co-authored this book, which is selling like anything. We didn't expect the saleability. It's always out of stock in the market.
Okay. So, hanapin niyo lang po, go by the author. I mean, 17 titles, and you can choose, di
Yes.
ba?
Oo.
So, go by the author. Sabihin mo, Jaime Licauco. Okay, go to National Bookstore, any local bookstore, and just ask
Or
them,
Power
where
Books.
are the books? Or Power Books. Where are the books of Jaime Licauco? And they lead you to it. And again, Tuesday, if you want to read things about psychic phenomena and yung mga research
Mind
ni Jaime
Power,
Licauco,
Inner Awareness, actually, column.
anong pangalan ng
Inner Awareness.
Inner Awareness sa Philippine Daily
Yes,
Inquirer?
lifestyle section.
Okay. And again, DWIZ,
Yes.
882, what
Killer.
day, what time?
Sunday, 8 to 9 p.m.
Okay, Sunday, 8 to 9 p.m. And again, his seminar on quantum physics, Eastern mysticism, and ESP is on June 22. That's a Sunday, and it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The venue is at the penthouse of Prince Plaza Building, Legazpi Street, Legazpi Village, just across Greenbelt 5.
Yeah, right.
The numbers to call, 810-7245, landline, 810-7245, and ang mobile number, 0908-353-7885. Sabihin nyo lang, we were watching TV and we heard Mr. Jimmy Licauco has his thing. Can we still join? Is it still available? Pero ito, sigurado ito, Jimmy, once lang ito. You were telling me,
Yeah,
once
because
lang to.
unfortunately, George Weissman is going back to the United States after this, maybe 2 weeks afterwards. He married a Filipina, by the way, from Cagayan de Oro. And they
Di ba balik siya rito?
No, they were living here for 2 years, and then they decided to stay in the U.S., but he will be coming back once in a while because the family of the wife is here.
Okay. So there's no other scheduled
Unfortunately.
seminar workshop of the same
Subject.
topic, no? The same subject. When we come back, si Mr. Jaime Licauco is going to tell you what exactly you're going to be learning during these things. Well, if only for the demonstration of psychokinesis, bending spoons, okay na yan, di ba? I mean, it's going to be worth your time and effort. If you've never seen it
It's going to
before,
be more than that, Jerry.
because hindi po sila magician no? Iba yung illusionist who are there to entertain. They're here to prove a scientific fact, di ba?
Yes.
The laws of physics and the laws of quantum physics. You're listening to Open House and watching Open House with Gerry Cornejo. By the way, this program airs nationwide and worldwide. Yes. Dito po sa Pilipinas, we are on GNN, Global News Network, Channel 8 of Global Destiny Cable TV. We're on Channel 213 of Sky. We're on GSAT, Channel 1, and streaming. Kaya Jimmy, basta may computer sila, they're connected to the internet, wherever you may be. Just log on to www.gnntv-asia.com and you'll be able to watch and listen not only to this program but other programs on GNN. I'm Gerry Cornejo. We'll be back with Dr. Jimmy Licauco in a short while. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Open House with Gerry Cornejo, where we feature people, places, and things that are in the news or who should be in the news. Ang topic po natin ngayon and our guest goes all the way. They've been in the news, always in the news, and should always be in the news. So we have with us international psychic researcher, author, international lecturer, broadcaster, columnist, si Dr. Jaime Licauco. So, Jimmy, again, You're going to have a seminar June 22 in Makati.
Yes.
It's going to be Quantum Physics, Eastern Mysticism, and ESP.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you're lucky enough to still join it, because as we speak, there are just a very few,
Yeah.
less than a handful left. Out of ilang bang kaya ng...
No, the limited space and function room, no, it's only 40, and we have about 30 plus already.
Okay. Ngayon, Jimmy, for those who have already, ano ba tawag doon, enrolled?
Enrolled.
Or those who have already enrolled and those who are planning to, what can they expect during this, ano lang ito, 8 hours, 9 to 5?
Yes, 8 hours.
So what can they expect? I mean, walk us through.
Yes.
They walk in there, they register, it's 9 o'clock, it begins. And George Weissman
Yes.
is the other speaker, and then you, kayo lang dalawa.
Kaming dalawa lang.
Okay,
Oo.
walk us through your seminar workshop, Jimmy.
Well, we will have at the beginning a demonstration. They will demonstrate. We will not demonstrate. The participants will be taught how to do, for example, psychic reading of a partner they've never seen before, and how they could even diagnose the illness of the person. That's one, no? And then it will be explained why these things happen. George Weissman will come in and talk about the parallelism between Eastern mysticism and quantum physics. He's coming in from a technical standpoint, but as he was studying this, he also began to be interested in Buddhism, and he was a practicing Buddhist at the time, and he saw the parallelism between what the Buddhists are saying and what quantum physics is saying. And he was one of the pioneers, by the way, that tries to relate or encourage people to see the relationship between the new consciousness and quantum physics. He was one of the pioneers, and he built a whole group in the United States to encourage this dialogue between the mystics and the scientists.
Okay.
So this seminar will open up their minds to this possibility, not only possibility, the reality of the relationship between physics, the quantum physics, and ESP and mysticism. They are saying the same thing. In fact, you know, one of the most interesting developments here is that the physicists are talking like the mystics, and the mystics are talking like physicists. No? For example, no? One of the greatest quantum physicists, Danish, is Niels Bohr. And he was quoted as saying, he said, everything that we consider to be real are made up of things that cannot be considered real. I mean, that's contradictory. That's a quantum physicist talking, not a mystic. And then there is this British physicist named Arthur Stanley Eddington, who said that the universe, the world, is becoming more like a great thought than a great machine. See, these again are not the words of a physicist. These are the words of a mystic. No? And quantum physics also realized that what the Buddhists and Hindus are saying, that the outside world is an illusion, is true. That the thing that we consider solid is not really solid in its in the quantum level. So when they started trying to find out what makes up matter, they found out there's nothing. Well, how can nothing be something? So these are the quandaries. These are the what do you call it? Interesting philosophical or metaphysical questions that they're struggling with, and they have some very interesting theories, no, to explain how matter exists. Kasi doon, if you will remember Greek philosophy, Democritus said that the smallest particle of matter is an atom. In fact, the word atom is the Greek word meaning indivisible. But then, as you know, as we know, the atom was split. The atomic bomb was created and all that. And then Einstein created, or discovered this formula of E equals mc squared, meaning energy is equivalent to mass multiplied by the square of the constant. The constant is the speed of light. So this created a new way of thinking, no? The relativity theory, both the general theory of relativity and the special theory of relativity, about space-time. Yun ang mga beginnings, eh. And then comes a guy like Max Planck, who said that the smallest particle of matter is not made of a continuous thing, but made up of discrete entities called quanta. Doon nag-umpisa yan eh. Yung word na quantum. So, what is the smallest particle of matter? Nothing. Nothing. Jerry,
Tingnan mo na.
it's nothing.
Okay, Jimmy, you're walking us through your seminar, okay? What kind of people meron ka na bang
Wow.
demographics? I mean, what kind of people have you attracted there so far?
It's very interesting. It's the thinking people.
Okay,
It's the
of
people
course.
who are the highly intelligent, highly educated are the ones being attracted to it. Presidents of universities, scientists, lawyers, what else?
Thinkers.
People, writers. No?
Because just listening to you now, if I were to walk into your seminar, baka paglabas ko, litong-lito na ako. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but then,
True.
Okay, question, this is important.
Sure.
How is it going to affect my life if I go to your seminar? You know what your agenda is. You know what your topics are going to be. So if after listening to George Weissman, after listening to Jaime Licauco, talk about quantum physics, talk about Eastern mysticism and ESP, is it going to make me a better person? Are you going to give me tools or an enlightenment that will help me make this world a better place to live in? Ano ba ito? I mean, what are you going to impart to the people who will be in that seminar?
Jerry, this is not a theoretical seminar, it's a workshop.
Okay.
In other words, the people will go through it and will demonstrate to themselves.
So experiential.
Experientially, though.
Okay.
There will be demonstration. They will,
Okay.
for example, we'll ask them to really to have a partner and we'll do remote viewing.
Okay.
Where they will describe a place they have never seen before, accuracy. They will do psychic reading of a person they've never seen before. They will do maybe moving of an object or bending spoons. They will do it themselves. So what happens after that is that there's an expansion of consciousness. They will realize that, huy, meron palang mga ganito na pwedeng ma-explica ng a new kind of science.
Okay.
I have been looking for this, Jerry, for a long time. I said, you know, the classical science cannot explain what's happening in the phenomenal world. No, it's only quantum physics that has a semblance of rationality to a non-rational situation. And therefore, it's no longer laughing matter. No longer laughing matter. Before, scientists would just laugh at this. Ngayon, hindi eh. Because the evidence is so much, the research material is so massive that it cannot be ignored anymore, Jerry. It cannot be ignored. They cannot laugh at it anymore and say, this is not hallucination, this is imagination. Hindi na pwede eh.
Okay. Now, Jimmy, without a doubt, there are going to be so many people who will not be able to join your seminar.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because, you know, I mean, nationwide tayo eh. So, mayroong mga tao from Apari to Jolo, from Batanes to Jolo.
Oh, yes.
Who are listening to us right now.
Yes,
Ngayon,
yes.
hindi sila makakasali doon sa seminar o sa workshop mo. Ngayon, when we were talking just the other week in Makati, you know, nakita kami sa Greenbelt, nag-uusap kami ron. You were mentioning three or four books that they should read. I mean, kasi if you won't be able to go to this workshop seminar and you're very interested in these topics, then the next best thing you can do is read up on it, di ba?
Yes.
Ano yung mga suggestions mo, Jimmy?
Yes, you know, there's books for the layman. You don't have to know physics or ESP.
But this will cover some of the topics that is in your workshop.
Yes, it will cover.
Sige, okay.
One of the most interesting is Gerry Cornejo's book called The Dancing Woolly Masters. W-U, tapos L-I, Woolly Masters. Ang subtitle nito, An Overview of Modern Physics. Yeah, so it's really about modern physics.
And the author is?
Gerry Cornejo.
Okay.
No, Gerry Cornejo, the favorite of this Oprah Winfrey, is always a guest of Oprah. No? And he wrote The Seat of the Soul, you know, and Mind of the Soul, Spiritual Relationship. This is Gerry Cornejo wrote this. And then there is the book of Fritjof Capra, who is a physicist. He has a doctorate in physics. Wrote the book, The Tao, or Tao, T-A-O, The Tao of Physics, where he talked about the parallelism between mysticism and quantum physics. The third book, which they can look up if they're still available, is The Medium, The Mystic, and The Physicist by Dr. Lawrence Leshan, a psychologist. And then there's another one, The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot is another very good source of information on this. And the latest would be Dean Radin's book on the Noetic Universe. Dean Radin is the head now of the Institute of Noetic Science, which was founded by Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man on the moon. He's an American astronaut. And Edgar Mitchell has a doctorate in science. When he got out of NASA, he founded an organization called Institute of Noetic Sciences to study and investigate those that are beyond science. In fact, I was invited once to speak before the scientists in Sausalito, in California, before this group in the 1980s. These are highly advanced, very avant-garde scientists that are willing to risk, to blaze trails of new knowledge that many scientists are afraid to go to. Yun. Yun ang,
Okay. Now, meron kang isang hindi minimension na author na I'm sure they would be able to get many ideas on psychic phenomena. Yung si Jaime Licauco. Ano mga libro mo, Jimmy?
Well,
that would be very connected
yes.
to quantum physics, Eastern mysticism, and ESP.
Well, maybe it should be the Understanding the Psychic Powers of Man.
Okay.
It was my first book and was revised already, And then the second is Exploring the Powers of Your Inner Mind. These two books, I think, would give them a very good idea about this field. Of course, I've written so many other things.
Oh, no, pero ito yung i-check nyo lang namin because almost all of your books are about psychic phenomena.
About mind power.
Mind power.
But there's one on Christianity also.
Diba na, Jimmy, you give regular workshop seminars also?
Yes.
Regular. How regular?
Every month, there is every weekend, I have a new seminar.
Okay, so there you go. Kung hindi nyo maabutan ito, because the reason this is one of a kind is because there is another speaker, si George Weissman, who will be leaving the country. Okay? So after June 22, si Dr. Jaime Licauco, we still have regular workshop seminars on psychic phenomena, on ESP, on
soulmates, karma, reincarnation.
Ayan, soulmates, karma, reincarnation. So all of these things na you want an authority, to speak about it so you learn about it. Kasi kung minsan, kulang na kulang mga reading material on it, or sometimes they're too heavy. Now here's a person that you can interact with, aside from knowing about it, pwede mong tanungin at sasagutin ka. Hindi parang libro. Sasabihin lang sa'yo. Di ba? Okay, so with that, thank you very much, Jimmy.
Thank you, Gerry, for inviting me.
Actually, mga 2 taon ko nang kinukumbida si Jimmy. 2 years na po, 2 years na. And I'm so happy that, I was walking along and then I saw you and then I said, oh, you're texting, you're busy. So sabi ko, next time ko na lang kakausapin ko. Anyway, I see you regularly. But then, something made me turn back. I said, no, I'm going to turn back. I'm going to say hello anyway. And this is the result. We have him here with us now. So with that, I hope, I don't hope. I am sure you learned something from this talk by Dr. Jaime Licauco. And hopefully, it's not going to take another 2 years before we have him back here again. So, Jimmy, maraming salamat.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me, Gerry.
Thank you very much. And with that, until next time, I'm Gerry Cornejo. This is Open House. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye.